everybody. Welcome to another video here produced by Elation Studios. We have ourselves a very special guest. Again, Mr. Rong Chen, the founder, creator, the genius behind what you know as Elastos. We've put out a couple different videos on what Elastos is, what it's trying to achieve. Please, we encourage you to go and have a look at those. Lots of videos, and we point you to elastos.org, cyberrepublic.org, lots of resources out there to learn about the project. But today, we're not necessarily here to learn about the project, but we're here to sort of have a little fun with Mr. Chen. Really what we're trying to do is take a few questions or topics that are sort of current within the community, particularly within the Telegram. That's one of the main sort of channels in which the community is able to, at least the Western or English community, is able to voice a lot of kind of where they're at and what they're interested in hearing about. So sort of we've broken this up into two parts. One is, talking about 3, 4, maybe 5 different topics. Try to be quick about it. And then the second half, we'll have a little fun with the little game that Fox here has decided to put on for us, which is, what's it called again?
It's called Is Rong Right.
Is Rong Right. Sorry.
That's right. Don't forget to introduce the name of this video.
Right. We hope to create what will be a series of some frequency as an opportunity for the community to hear a little more from Rong on kind of what are the current topics. And the series is called what, Foucault?
It is called Drinks with Rong.
Drinks with Rong.
So let's start off. What is everyone drinking?
Rong, why don't you kick us off? What are you drinking?
I was drinking coffee, but then now it's water.
And do you take your coffee black, or do you mix it with some milk or sugar? Or
well, actually, the first cup is with milk, and second one on will be black. Kind of funny, but yeah.
Hard at work.
Too lazy to go to the fridge and get another.
Keeping the focus. And Fox, what do you? I think it looked like a silvery Red Bull can.
I'm drinking a good old Red Bull to keep the energy levels up. Yeah.
Good. You growing the wings?
I'm growing some wings.
Good.
What about you, Trey? What liquor are you drinking tonight?
Well, this would be some whiskey. I'm having whiskey.
Very nice.
but I just want to say, Rong's on the western seaboard in the US, which is maybe 11:30 a.m.
11:48.
Yeah, I'd be a little worried if you were joining me with whiskey at the moment. See, for us, we're in Europe, and so it's
8 p.m. now.
8 p.m. So yeah. I think it's allowed. Anyways, should we get on? Should we get into it?
Sure.
Yeah. All right.
Let's do it.
So again, some of these are a mix of sort of the topics that are currently live within the community, or things selfishly Fox and I are interested in hearing more about. So just to jump right into it, one of the more recent discussions in the community, which caught quite a bit of discussion and debate, actually Starfish Labs, Ryan, had sort of somewhat initiated it. It's been a discussion for, I think, what is it? Suyu Pong might be kind of looking at it right now. The topic is supernodes. And specifically around supernodes, I want to get your thoughts, particular to the incentivization of supernodes, how there's, as Ryan described it, there were really two different problems, so to speak, to be dealt with, which is through the end of the year having the incentive, the percentages, the APY, through the DPoS is reducing, which means people may be more encouraged to move the ELA off chain to the side chain and seek greater value through staking or liquidity pools or whatever it might be. And through moving into that, the security potentially of the Elastos main chain dissipates as more ELA goes off, because that ELA can't be used for voting. There will be fewer votes for supernodes themselves. So there's potential opportunity for larger whales to come in and vote themselves up. And then, of course, through annual council voting and cycles, you'll have fewer and fewer votes as more ELA moves off the sidechain. So that was one of the problems that was raised. The second then issue was just then around the supernodes themselves. And I think back maybe a year ago today, there may have been 99. And that number has been dissipating. And I think now we're in the 40s.
43.
43, 44, yeah.
And so that's one problem, which is people, what is the incentivization to get more supernodes in wanting to be supernodes? But then also, how can we create an environment of reducing stagnation within the ranking of those supernodes? It takes a lot for nodes to move within that list. So that's the question.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? Do you have any thoughts about the topic?
Yeah, definitely. I'm aware of the problem Ryan is talking about. And also I know that the core teams, Yipeng in particular, and also the so-called Galaxy team members, they are actually testing out different strategies. Last time I heard was Yipeng has some ideas, and they have already started implementations. But then the thing is, currently they still have some issues to solve. The algorithms is working, but on the other hand, they also need a strategy to convert to switch from the old one to a new one. So there they don't want to. They want a smooth one instead of a hiccup. Just some incompatibility in between. That's what they're still working on right now. And of course, the other one is whether we should allow sidechain ELAs, the number also being counted as votes.
Is that possible?
I think, again, for this, I'm no engineer in this case, but if you see Elastos Essentials from Ben Pierre, actually they do have the total tokens you have, assets you have, right? How many, let's say you have a ESC sidechain, you have a DRD sidechain, you have some assets on the DRD chain, you have some assets on the ESC chain, and also you have some assets on the main chain. But then if you see Essentials will give you a total.
Yeah.
So that means to sum it up, giving you a total.
Yeah, you can use that.
Right. Yeah. So shouldn't be that, as an engineer, right? If you see, okay, if Ben Pierre can do a total.
So can I.
So can I, exactly. So I wouldn't say that's an issue, but then maybe there are some other issues that Yipeng has in mind.
So is it Supon that's
superficially? Yeah, I see that should be doable.
Okay.
All right. Yipeng is our guy to fix this.
Yeah, and the other one is how do we after the halving, and how do we incentivize people to participate, right? Again, it's my hunch. It's not my. It's not a solution. It's not nothing official, but we do plan. I believe like storage, like bandwidth relay, will deserve some. Let's say rewards, right? Let's say one influencer wanna reach 100,000 audiences. If you just want to talk to your relative, like whatever is free today on Facebook, on FaceTime, you will probably offer for free in this new web, on this new web. But on the other hand, if you want to reach millions of customers, you want to pay, you have to pay for the CDN delivery. You pay for the storage, you pay for the bandwidth. Similarly, you can imagine, Elastos decentralized carrier will incur maybe cheaper than the current internet, but still it'll incur some costs to the influencer. So long as the influencer receive rewards from his or her followers, and a portion of it will be will go to the gas fees of the decentralized carrier, and from the carrier will trigger down to the miners, whoever provide the supernodes for those. That's another thing for this second tier Amazon. Actually, it's the PC compatible machines. I wouldn't say Amazon. See, basically it's just a virtual PC, right? Running Ubuntu and running Windows. So if they're just a virtual software, virtual machines, I also imagine down the road with the proliferation of IPv6, people could host their PCs at home. Because I did some evaluation. Let's say you run a Amazon virtual machine. Currently, it's about somewhere between $100 to $200 per node per month. It depends on where you run your machine, which cloud compute farm you run your machine. Azure, Microsoft Azure and Amazon both, given the specs of the current default spec requirements, both Amazon and Microsoft, I believe, are running around $160 per month.
Yeah. So I guess
machine.
Yeah. So I guess what we're going to then is maybe the costs associated to running a node through those are perhaps not significant.
Yeah.
And then
for like a month, it incur about $106 plus tax.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I also go online, search Amazon for those refurbished PC with exactly the same spec, right? Quad core or how many, 300 or 400 gigabytes hard drive with this bandwidth. As long the only thing missing is the static IP address from home.
Yeah.
A refurbished PC with exactly the same spec from the Galaxy team is about $160, the whole machine. Right? If you buy a brand new one, maybe costs a little bit more than that, but it's still $400. As I said, if you buy a refurbished one, this is $160 or $180.
I get where you're going, but
per a whole machine, right? You can run it for 12 months, for several years.
Yeah. No, I get where you're going, right? Which is if the price of the ELA goes up, then the rewards will pay off what is considered potentially a low cost to run a supernode. However, it doesn't necessarily, if, for example, if a new supernode were to come on right now, it would earn less than 1 ELA. It would be like 0.2 of an ELA. So, but the challenge is once people vote, they vote and they forget about it and they walk away. Last question, we'll move on to the next one, which is, what are your thoughts on an annual refresh of the voting on supernodes?
Yeah, definitely. That's another thing we in Yipeng's and Galaxy team, they're aware and they're coming back with the strategies and how to encourage make the rankings are more dynamic.
Yeah, I think that's
I think that's the key thing, is making the rankings dynamic. I think it's not so much the cost, it's how do you make it more competitive.
Yeah, and also welcoming the newcomers, giving them incentives, at least not losing money, right? Everyone here is for some gains.
But it's like welcoming the newcomers, but it's also recognizing the effort put in by the newcomers.
Definitely.
So I think you used a very good word, which is the dynamic, making it more dynamic. I'm going to move on to the next question, if I may, which is around Elastos is one of the few projects, particularly blockchain projects, that is engaged with or involved in the World Economic Forum, as well as the W3C, so World Wide Web Consortium, and which means you are engaged within those bodies. Is there anything maybe that's going on, or more current, that's kind of worth sharing with the community?
Well, actually, yeah. Well, we paid the membership fees. The Elastos Foundation paid the membership for both W3C and WEF. But so my name's there, and on the other hand, actually, Donnie is the person. I mean, for the WEF, Donnie is the main participant, and also he's also taking part in drafting some of the web papers for WEF, like the DID or some like a data ownership kind of forums. For the WEF, I went to Yipeng, me, and Jinyu, three of us, we went to the FOCAM, the Japanese annual conference of W3C in 2019, before the COVID, right? And the 2021 was in Vancouver, but because of the lockdown, we didn't go. We joined the W3C for two very important reasons. One is that we want to see how do they organize their meetings, how do they, what's the process of submitting a proposal of a standard, right? And because as I said, Web3 or smart web, it should be inclusive. It's not just not just Elastos and not just Elastos core teams. Should be anyone who follow the protocol, like the DID, W3C DID spec should be able to interop. But then, since W3C doesn't really have much about crypto standards, then somehow we have to organize or have a place to submit, like for Hive storage, for the carrier decentralized messaging, even for DeFi, we need some common specs, protocol specs. For example, even for cryptos, right? And Ethereum has a lot of documentations, but on the other hand, there are always issues, like when you send tokens from main chain to exchanges, there are some incur some special corner cases, right? And the specs may not be able to address those issues, especially if we come with CRC signing. We're also thinking about those side chains, fork off side chains, the consensus versus sub-consensus, culture-based consensus, geopolitical consensus. Definitely, there should be a place people have to propose their suggestions and pass through as specs, right? And then the nodes can join down the road. So a lot of things to learn. And also another reason we went to W3C, I was talking to some of the members, some from Google, some from Microsoft, some from AT&T. I named three, and of course more over dinner, over those social occasions. Well,
Enjoy
I was in Japan.
Dinner out with clients and drinks. Those are good times.
Yeah, definitely there are social hours, and but to my surprise, most of the W3C participants Actually, they're not much younger than me. Basically, they are before their retirement. They're not actively in development, but they have seniority. What they're going to do? You
Wrong.
send them to W3C.
If they were much younger than you, they'd still be in grade school.
They go participate in the standard defining meetings. Yeah, that's the facts, right? That's not I like it or not. That's the situation.
So is
the
it,
thing is
like policy setting? It's sort of
yeah. But of course, those folks, they have experiences. They're more experienced. They have seen things, experienced what the app development. They basically they were the participants, right? 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
So then they come to define standards. But on the other hand, to my surprise, those people are not very open-minded to embrace cryptos.
Yeah, and I think that's a key point for the community, actually, which is like the World Economic Forum, the W3C. It's not like we're a part of this partitioned off group that's focused on crypto and blockchain and stuff. It's like it's just all of it together. They're not looking at blockchain. It's just, for example, the World Economic Forum, Donnie was saying, this is just writing policy for how data is being used and marketed and centralized,
right?
From the centralized groups to the decentralized and even less decentralized. It was actually interesting to hear him, because he was saying, through that commentary from him, it's like, while blockchain is so new for all of us, even us who are in the community, it's even more new for the people who are in these forums.
Right, and also because of indeed crypto communities have their own problems, right? Because if you see the ICOs, and if you see
the past, there wasn't
many crypto projects. Actually, they're just for crypto for crypto, and who are the DeFi for DeFi? The lender borrower, same kind of same group.
Yeah.
Right. It's not really as I said, can we use DeFi to apply to real world? If let's say you run a restaurant, if you run a like a boutique movie, if you want to make your own boutique movie, can you raise some funds, right? And can you make that liquidate as soon as you have the owner, the token issued?
Yeah.
So. But then, of course, there are a lot of Ponzi schemers, those guys, and also make the water muddier, and so discouraged the internet community. So the reason why, the second reason I went is I do want to enlist more internet veterans or internet startups. Because of, after all, a new web, and just hear me out, a new web. So the key point is the web, not the neo, right? Not the crypto. Neo meaning, a crypto web, but the web is a, I did some comparison. A automobile, right, is an automobile, but then the new automobile, like an EV, autonomous driving automobile, it's completely the inner workings, engineering are completely different. But after all, people have to accept this is a car, still a car, not a battery. Right. So, of course, you need battery innovations. You need, long-lasting, those power train kind of battery. But then there's still, it's not a battery. We're driving a car. Two consumers, two engineers, they're completely two different beasts. One is, electric, battery, and software. The other one is, the gasoline, the clutch, all those things. So engineer-wise, they're completely different. But to consumers, they're very similar because they're still a car.
Point A to point B.
That's it.
Right. So then when you talk about a web, a new web, in the Web3, all under the hood is completely, maybe very much. First of all, I take the stance of complementary. So it's like a hybrid. Half of it is completely different, and half of it is just the old. But overall, given you cover it up with the hood, it's still a web, right? And it's for consumers. It's for the normal folks. It's not for the crypto geeks.
Yeah,
I think that's where I think the crypto communities overemphasized the innovation, what's under the hood, instead of the consumer.
Yeah.
The targeted audiences.
And then so our engagement with the World Economic Forum and the W3C is to help bridge that gap.
Yeah, and also if we're talking about a web, we're really like a percentage-wise, let's say 100 engineers working on this new web, percentage-wise. How many of them should be the crypto community? How many of them should be the internet community engineers? Yeah. From the old internet. For example, we are doing a decentralized carrier. So decentralized part definitely from the crypto, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but after all, we have to do the movie streaming. We have to do the storage, the CDN delivery. So who can do, like we worked with the Titan network briefly, doing they are doing the 4K on demand video out of the set-top boxes, right? So they claim they can achieve a quarter of the costs of Amazon CDN, delivering 4K on demand movie out of this set-top boxes. That's what they claim. I didn't really verify, but then they made a business case. They sold their company recently. The reason why they sold, I believe they proved their point, so they can sell their company, right, to a public listed company in China. So then, basically, what I'm saying is that we need to convince those internet folks doing CDN, doing video streaming, doing the business models like social networking, those e-commerce kind of shops, to embrace the new business model.
Yeah.
Right. So definitely, I will see if I would make a wild guess, percentage-wise, I would say 100 engineers together, we need at least 90 from the old camp, and less than 10 from the crypto world.
Yeah.
That's percentage-wise to build a new internet.
Yeah. Maybe we can turn that into a little bit of a, because I'm sure that's debatable. Maybe we can turn that into a little bit of a poll with the community or something, which is
that's the I think that's a big piece missing from the crypto community. Where are those 90% of engineers?
We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there.
And then to my surprise, when I went to W3C, I would find those old guards were too hard to convince.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
you need to convince them to convince their people.
No. I'm not saying I have to convince those quasi-retired folks, right?
Yeah.
But just I basically personally went and tested the water.
Yeah.
Put it this way.
So I mean, for the so as you started to this question, you started it off by saying Donnie is very actively engaged on the World Economic Forum side of it. For the folks that are listening in now, and Rong yourself, we're actually meeting with Donnie in August 12th, and we'll release a video shortly thereafter, where you can bet we're going to be talking about his involvement in the forum. Last I heard, there's actually a fair bit going on in that regard, so it should be a pretty good update. So with that,
Troy, you're ruining the surprise. I like to keep the guests mysterious. But anyway, I'll edit that bit out.
No, don't edit it. Okay, do what you would like.
All right, what's next?
I'm going to move us on to the next question. We got 3 more, and we got 3 more to do in 10, and I'll allow it 15 minutes. So I think we can do it. I think we can do it, Ron. So the next one, this is a layup. This is a softball right here. So some new development. Well, one new development, newish, which Ryan recently announced, which is around the foundation's sort of commitment or involvement to Elavate Finance, which is a new decentralized platform that's being developed and will be on the ESC, the Elastos sidechain. As well as, so putting that aside, we have the ELAbox, the ELAbox, which is coming out. I guess I don't even know the question here. What do you, as it relates to Elavate Finance, how did that come about? What's the driver behind that? What made you, because you had your core teams and sort of now Starfish Labs being sort of brought into the foundation is something that's new. Maybe you could share a little bit about how you're thinking about both DeFi, how you're feeling about Starfish Labs, and then also the ELAbox and what they're doing there. It's a lot there, a lot to unpack. But
well, people have to realize Elastos Foundation actually right now consists of only less than around 5-6 people all together, right? Basically 3 board members, and then there's a financial control, basically doing this, managing those wallets, and that's literally the headcount of Elastos Foundation, because we are.
It's more sort of a distribution sort of entity.
Yeah, we're responsible for the funds and to be used for the right cause.
Yeah, all and their own entities, right?
Yeah, because we committed to build to fund the new construction of the new web, smart web.
Yeah.
And that said, we constantly look at ecosystem partners, and but in the past we made many mistakes. In retrospect, we were too trigger happy or jumped ahead, like invested into some like a hash world, right? Like Zapier and some other project, just name a few. Because we were a little too early, because of if we don't have a smart web skeleton, how do they know what we're building? And the other one is that we learned our lesson. We would prefer like Elation Finance or ELAbox. They have one thing in common. They believe in Elastos and or Web3 as the future, as a future. So with or without our funding, actually they have already started building their software on Elastos, right? Hyper is another one. They selected us instead of we gave them funding. Then they build.
If I were to separate it away from the foundation and the funding and all of that, if I were to put that off to the side and just focus on then Elevation Finance and ELAbox, how do you see that supporting or benefiting or helping to grow the Elastos sort of brand or utility?
Well, if you see, we are planning for the second phase. Basically, from August to 2.5 years, right, down the road, is for building a ecosystem and to support real world use cases.
Yep.
For example, the BTC Lightning Network right now currently growing at 20% rate per month, which is extremely fast. And also they have already achieved acceptable user experiences. Let's say pay Bitcoin or international remittance within 2 seconds, which is definitely on par to consumer expectations. And given that said, the Lightning Network is using, to my surprise, or to everyone's surprise, actually, the Lightning Network relies on the Raspberry Pi being the end node, right? And two end nodes connect to each other, which is called a channel. Currently, the Lightning Network has about 50,000 channels, have about 2,000 BTCs staked in there, in the channel. So if you can imagine there, and ELAbox also have already done pretty much put the ELA main chain node, the main chain algorithms, the carrier algorithms in there, and Hive being hosting your feeds source, right, being a Hive node. So if you imagine the two things, and given ELAbox pretty much got the ELA part of it into Raspberry Pi, can you imagine, put Lightning Network also embedded in the same box? And then there, if you have a storage gas fee, right, can you convert it into BTC gas fee in the instant as a staking channel? And can you use because after all, if you see what carrier is the decentralized logistics provider for this new web. And there, let's see, you want to watch a movie on demand, or you want to provide CDN like a Filecoin. There's CDN storage in there, right, for movie archives, for website distribution, because it's content based. But then it's charged you by the volume. You watch 2 gigabytes. You consume 2 gigabytes of streaming.
Yeah. Right.
You pay for it. So this kind of accountancy. If you see Litecoin, Lightning Network, right? It's not like, okay, I want to pay my monthly fee with how many ELA or how many US dollars. But then there you charge like carriers, the telco carriers like AT&T, China Mobile, they charge by those units. And each unit is about 6 seconds worth. Let's say I call you up, right? International call. Yeah. Basically, they charge you by how many calling units you consumed, which is 6 seconds per unit. So what I'm saying is following the same business model, can Elastos charge you on the 6 seconds by 6 seconds, or by volume, right? 2 gigabyte, 1 gigabytes, incremental cost gas fees. So then you need a Lightning Network kind of ledger or staking. Yeah. So then those decentralized carriers can charge you accordingly to
let's bring
rewards.
Let's bring it back to Elavate and ELAbox, yeah?
So then the ELAbox, let's say if I purchase the ELAbox, then I can mine the decentralized carrier. Yeah. Because of the accountancy is literally porting the basically you can see the Lightning Network has two things. The Lightning Network is open source, so it's like a Ethereum. You can see two things. One is a Ethereum. Ethereum is the other one is a ELA Ethereum sidechain. Okay. So if you see the Lightning, you see Lightning, which is doing the international remittance, in El Salvador, in some other anywhere, which is, that's it. We take it, we use it. And the other one is how about we port it over using ELA to be the ledger for carrier. Got that part? Yeah. So then the CDN would have a reliable, ledger to charge you and reward the miners.
Good.
So that's where you see the ELAbox, and of course you also see the Elation, because of, after all, the gas fees is in USD or is in BTC, and who is converting the ELA gas fee into BTC?
Yeah, that's the Elavate finance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So I think to break just quickly, phase two. So Elavate Finance and the ELAbox, that's kind of generating the phase two, the utility, the user base, the growth for once you've completed phase one, which was the sort of the not the first phase, but the sort of the product as it's available and ready to go. A lot more development to come after that. I'm going to move it just to the next. I know I promised in 10 or 15 minutes. I think we failed. Wrong. I think we're going to fail for my timekeeping. But it's two more questions, and then we'll move on to the lightning round of questions of Is Rong Right? So two more questions. Let's let this be our lightning round, which is NFTs. So there's the history of the NFT with kind of an undecided vote there at the end of, previously to continue to build that platform. What are your thoughts, just generally, putting aside the history of Elastos and the voting of the previous NFTs? I know there was recently a new NFT suggestion that was put out there, which the council invited the creators to come and speak to us about. Generally speaking, what are your thoughts about NFTs? Are they here to stay? Aren't they? Is there value? And then are we missing out on something?
Well, here's how I look at the NFTs. If you see feeds will support some sort of NFTs as experiments or as infrastructure support because of
now feeds is more of a Twitter, right?
Yeah, but then they start to have NFT capability, so you can with your blog you can post your NFT and people can start trade.
Twitter.
Yeah, basically I don't know the more details along that line, but I do see two things. One is if you see DeFi non-fungible token, you see the tools or supports from the Ethereum community. Definitely, that's very encouraging. I'm very glad to see what they have already achieved. Whether it's people buying the music, buying those paint artwork, yeah, and because whether you see it. It's real. There's people with doubts, right? Saying that that's fake, that's not real. But I see it as similar to DeFi. I see their real life emulation war games. So that's real money, real game, right? Because that's after all worth something. If you steal Ethereum or BTC, that's real money. You can go on the exchange and sell it. So that's real life animation. So the thieves, the hackers definitely have incentives to hack. But then if they couldn't, right, or after throughout the years, of course, the pros will fix those loopholes and make them more robust. So definitely they'll make a better technology. The other thing I see is that for real world NFT, let's say movie, ebook, right? And you own your own data. How are you going to sell your data with the scarcity? And you trade them like credit. Your credit score, is that a number, or is that ongoing? Some kind of NFT. So actually, we have I have this. We registered another domain name called a digital capsule back in 2006, 2007 timeframe, because at that time we were designing our own kernel, building our own smartphone. There was something called Yahoo widgets at that time. The Yahoo widgets is very similar to current the Google Android widgets on your screen. But widgets consists of some JavaScript or some scripting language encapsulated with the data together. I call it a capsule, a digital capsule. So given you have a mobile phone, mobile web, then what people share on Facebook today, what people share in those years, right, share on WeChat, we start to see on WeChat, they share those so-called mini programs. In the old days, 10 years ago, that was shared only photos, links, and messages, right? But currently, you can see people start to share mini programs. The mini programs are kind of what I imagined the digital capsules. So you share a link with a little intro, with a little bit of animation to lure you to open up this capsule.
Clickbait.
Yeah. Basically, they can. Whatever. Basically, that's where those capsule, the name came from, right?
Yeah.
So you share, but then, can you imagine those capsules are now live NFTs? They're scarce with a limited number in circulation, and then when you click on them, because after all, they are little scripting mini program themselves.
Yeah, it's almost like when you go to Google, and every now and then Google, Google.com, and they have because it's a holiday or some special event or some annual sort of thing, they have like a little animation or a little game you could play or a little something. It's like that.
You share them. The key issue where the Elastos can play a part, or at least our understanding or our interpretations can play a part, is that when you run the program won't, let's say the program run within, on top of WeChat. That's one kind of a program. The other one is the program running inside literally a virtual machine, a native virtual machine, a little small sandbox, like WebAssembly. The web capsule literally runs inside a WebAssembly itself, right? Not resorting. Basically, WebAssembly is different from WeChat because WebAssembly is a W3C open standard.
Yeah.
Everyone, can provide this WebAssembly execution environment. Like Google, Microsoft, Apple, they can all provide, and including who was that? The other one, right? Firefox will provide WebAssembly. So definitely it's verifiable. If you don't trust Google, you trust Firefox, or if you don't trust Firefox, you basically take the open source of Firefox and build it yourself, right? So that's how you build trust. But like WeChat from Tencent, it's not open source. It's but then they can run a little a program, right? So let's say that little program running inside a WebAssembly open standard is a capsule. The capsule, when the capsule pop open, it'll go to the blockchain and validate itself. Are you the new owner? Right? Or have I been sold? This capsule is both being, sold as a secondhand ebook, right? Can you sell a secondhand ebook from one person to the other with the old internet, which is not possible because of Amazon ebook? Those big brothers own all the digital assets. You cannot resell ebook. Similarly, you cannot resell movie content.
I think we're getting to royalties, right? So
not only royalty, we're talking about digital capitalism.
Yeah.
The whole internet didn't have private ownership, didn't have a capitalism. Even though people say, oh, capitalism, personal ownership of things has been around for
because it could be like
hundreds of years.
So,
but what's internet today?
Well, I don't want to get into that because that's going to be
right. But at least it's not no personal ownership.
Yeah,
which is a big deal.
So we got one more question, but just to recap: should we do NFTs on the Elastos platform? I think the answer was yes.
Yes, 102, 120%.
I think that was the answer.
There you go.
But currently we haven't get around to it. It just as I said.
Yeah. No, it'll look as with everything with this platform, like it will happen. It's just
the Web3 definitely need.
it will happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So moving on to our last and final question before we move on to the sort of the games of this evening or morning, which is maybe more personal of a question. But what's the future? What's the future look like for Rong? So
future of what?
Of you and sort of you in the involvement in Elastos and the foundation. So we've talked about phase 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is certainly a multi-year platform. Actually, you know what? Let's go somewhere fun with this. Rong, where are you going to retire? What's your plan? You're going to be on a beach somewhere? You're gonna go back home?
Well, I wish, because personally, I wish I could have more hobbies and doing some fun stuff, right? I'm a kind of boring guy.
What are your hobbies? What do you like to do?
Well, my wife and I, we before the COVID, right? We start to after all, basically comparing to running a company like called Cortide, under Foxconn's investment. That was from 2007 to 2017, that 10 years. At that time, I was being a CEO is really, really hard because making the ends meet for your employees. Lot of responsibilities. At least, I'm not a CEO anymore. That's make me happy. At least not as stressed.
Not the community.
I do still. I realize we still have responsibility to the community.
Oh, for sure.
But definitely, it's not as stressful as the 10 years or previous 17 years from year 2000 to year 2017, because I was running the show, right, and making money, because that's a contradictory for what we're doing, because of we're doing operating systems. If you don't open source, because Linux and Android are open source, if we don't open source, then we cannot compete in the operating system arena. But if we open source, where are the money coming from, right? That's always a
wrong. We were talking about your hobbies. What do you like?
Yeah, that's at least my hobbies. Currently, I went to basically for the Elastos Indiva, Kevin, me, KP, we went to Europe. We toured 14 days, 7 countries.
Okay,
that was fun.
Yeah,
right, to see different culture.
So you were in Europe? Where were you?
We were, at that time we were in Berlin, Zurich, and Amsterdam, and Kent. What? Yeah, we went to London as well.
Kent, right?
7 countries. Yeah, we went to London. So that was fun. And also that Christmas, same year, family and me, we went back to the Mediterranean. And like Barcelona.
Seattle's not the right place for you, Rong. It sounds like it's Europe.
Europe. Well, I personally, I am looking forward to on my bucket list, Istanbul.
Okay. Yeah.
And because I was fascinated by thousands of years of history there, the Ottoman Empire.
Yeah.
And also I'm looking forward to a trip to Russia, because of the Russia, the country, because like St. Petersburg.
Yep.
Because of the czars and the history and why it's influenced China, right? That's kind of where I grew up, and what the heck, take a look, right? And
that's good. Like, so there's like the Siberian Trans Express. Like,
no, I won't go that far. It took too long, right? But then I just want to see what impacted the industrial revolutions, the World War I, World War II.
So you're a cause and effect kind of guy. Like,
I see why. What's the causal relationship, right? And Yeah, so I think that'll be interesting, and also go to Latin America to see.
Oh, Salvador.
Yeah, well, Salvador is actually definitely on my immediate travel plan.
Good. Oh, immediate travel plan. Well, that is
Yeah.
interesting, and we won't dig into that. We won't dig into
because
that.
I want to see firsthand. Is that real? You know, how do we? Because after all, we need a real life use cases. How do we change the the people's lives there?
Yeah.
And also that's another personal kind of. I founded Cortide in China year 2000. That's the year, right? Because Microsoft was designing .NET, I thought I can do a native versions of .NET. So that's the reason why I left Microsoft, and because I got funding in China, but I completely overlooked the internet was taking off in China. Alibaba, Tencent, NetEase, Baidu, you name it, all the big shots at that time, either they were half-year return needs, those Chinese overseas expats or Chinese Americans, they were either half-year ahead of me, definitely within a year, or half-year after me, or about the same time. I completely overlooked the internet wave in China. So I want to take your channel to let the entrepreneurs, the younger generation, to realize, don't repeat the stupid mistakes and be blind as me, right, for a new opportunity, but I'm just so focused on operating system or infrastructure, saying that's the crown jewel of software. If you don't know how to design a kernel,
experience, you learn.
Yeah. So to that though, as you want to use our channel for this. What so specifically is your advice then for that group? Is it not to focus, like you have an idea, an objective, a goal, and you're so like tunnel minded for that, but don't.
Yeah, I was too tunnel minded. The advice is riding on the wave. Because of before then, I was working for Microsoft. Of course, I was one of the .NET team member. We're talking about a team of 60 people maybe. But then that was designing, operating system for 10 years down the road, which giving me at least the sense of destiny. If you design something for 10 years down the road, and you're part of it, and every lines of code we wrote will be used by how many billions, right? So kind of blow up a engineer's ego, because you think, okay, if I leave Microsoft, the platform, I can repeat, I can do a new operating systems, and I can impact. That's completely missed the whole big picture.
You were ahead of it, right? So when you left and you came to, you were
technology-wise, you could say the reason why we're still here is because nobody proved the network OS wrong. Because of a network OS, the internet, taking today's perspective, internet without because what OS does, if you see Windows can be used by multiple users, even for family, you can have family members all have different accounts on your Windows PC, right? Let's say you have 5 members in your family, and you create 5 accounts for each individual. You see that's a PC for 5, and also kids cannot read their parents' data, right? Because each user has its own personal directory. Then who separates, guarantees one user cannot read the other user's data? That's the operating system, right? To make sure no one intrude in other people's privacy. So along the same line, the internet without a ID, without ordering, everyone kind of poking into the others, stealing others' user data. Then to set the sandboxes for each user, or quarantine each user in its own small space, that's an operating system. And can we design a network OS to achieve similar goals? So that's why we need a network OS. But then on the other hand, who should be the owner of the network OS? Should that be Microsoft? Should that be Apple or Google? For the world, right? Of course, some other countries would have doubt if you don't open source, if I don't trust you. So that's where the blockchain comes in. Can we have a decentralized ID, decentralized data silos, data,
You're a lot like, you're a lot like Arnold Schwarzenegger, if you hear me out. Arnold Schwarzenegger, when he was an actor, and maybe still is an actor, he's still an actor, he would go into interviews, and these interviewers would always be trying to talk about something else. They would always want have a topic away from the movie, or he'd always be promoting something. And he would always be a guy who could pivot whatever question or whatever was asked of Arnold to whatever he wanted to promote, which was his movie. Here we are talking about you and your hobbies and
Oh, wow.
And now
well, I don't have a hobby. Basically, very passive and yeah.
Vision. But
I always I enjoy to see I've been to Egypt. I've been to Israel.
So, I mean, as a man of history and a man as Egypt, you and I share something, which is a love for the ancient Egypt culture and the history of everything about that.
Wow, after you've been to Egypt, everyone should be humbled.
Yeah. Just and I think what you mean by that is just everything that they were able to create from the society, mechanism, to the architecture.
Like this little kid king, right? King Tut. King Tut was the only kind of tomb activated without any damage. But then King Tut, being a 19-year-old and passed away, right? Young kid, holding a dagger on his chest. The dagger was made of iron. Before human could because could forge iron, right? There's nothing high temperature high enough.
If you start talking about aliens, we are gonna.
Oh, geez,
this right now.
If you think the king holding a iron dagger and still kind of somewhat shining in there.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's still a lot to be uncovered, but okay. So thank you.
It's time. It is time.
So, I think so. We've gone through the 5 questions. I hope the community enjoyed that. Topics from the community, things Elation was interested in, and then just getting to learn a little more about you. What we will now do is I'll hand it off to Fox, who's going to introduce a new segment, which is what's it called again, Fox?
Is Wrong Right?
Is Wrong Right? Is Wrong Right? And explain it to us, Fox. What's that? What is this?
Okay, so this is wrong right. It's a little play on words of wrong or right, but obviously. So this section, it's a little fun game. We're going to make it interesting for everyone. I just had a great idea, Troy, so you can't veto it. It's too late now. What we're going to do is we're going to ask you 5 questions wrong.
Yeah.
For each question you get correct, we are going to put 10 ELA in a pool. So you get all 5 right, 50 ELA up for grabs, and we will red packet it to one of the lucky few who subscribe and comment on our video, and we will choose one randomly and we will send them 50 ELA. You get 0 wrong, right?
Yeah.
Then we give them nothing. So a lot of pressure, wrong, a lot of pressure. Okay, so are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, so question 1. What is the Elastos 2821 club?
Oh, that's because we have total of 28 million, and people are hoping, you know, that because that's a deflation model, and they can make it to some kind of 1,000 or 10,000 membership club.
Yeah.
Very good. Correct.
Correct. 10,000, only 10,000 ever can hold that amount.
Yeah.
All right. So that's 10 ELA in the pot so far. You're doing
And
good
now
one. You're
10
doing well.
ELA less rich. Thank you.
Okay. Question 2. Can you name 3 of the dragon tierings for ELA holders?
Dragon? What?
Yeah, so the community came up with a tiering system. So depending on how many ELA you hold, you get tiered as a specific type of dragon.
Right.
Can you name 3 of them?
I think this is
Don't
ours.
they have like a diamond, gold, some emeralds, and from this
Did he get
rational champ?
He did. Do you know what? This is too easy. Wrong.
Yeah.
Too easy.
I actually didn't think you were going to get this one. I was telling Fox here that was too.
I saw. Rational champ. He made some good contributions. His write-ups, and should still appreciate his help.
So you're correct. Yeah. So just emerald is up to 100, ruby is up to 1,000 ELA, gold is 10,000, diamond is 50,000, black diamond over 50,000, and then there is a legendary black diamond for anyone who has more than 1 million ELA. Okay.
1 million ELA. That is
1 million in ELA. Well, look, there's 20 in the pot already. You know, that's 20 closer to 1 million. No. I mean 20 ELA in our red packet.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Wrong.
Okay, Wrong. Question 3, and I feel like we should have made them harder, Troy. But okay, can you name 3 of the top 10 supernodes?
Oh, 3 of top 10. That's easy, right? Elephant.
And you can't cheat. I'm going to caveat that you're not allowed. So you know, some individuals have more than one supernode, so it has to be 3 unique supernodes.
Yeah. 3
said 1
on top 10.
Yeah,
Elephant
top 10.
Top 1, and Fenghan used to be, but then now he's.
We thought we'd get you with that one.
Out, and also oh geez, flow through my mind. Enter Elastos.
Yep.
And who else? Top 10. It's a starfish one, I think.
Oh, very good, very good. Yes, you are correct. You are correct. So the top 10 consists of elephant, Scandinavia, and Elastos have 3.
Yeah, Scandinavian. That's the one I.
Wild strawberries have 3.
I remember.
Starfish and Elavate. Okay. So far, so good. This is interesting. Okay, it gets a little bit harder now. It gets a little bit harder now. Okay, true or false? Donnie of Tomb Tech is currently homeless.
It's false.
No, it's true.
It's true.
It's true.
No, it's true.
It is true.
Because I think he lives in North Carolina, not too far from.
So we were just talking to him, and so he's just recently
homeless,
which is a new build. So he's currently sort of homeless, waiting
running
new build.
Oh well.
So I think it's in a month or like a couple weeks.
I think it's a few weeks. So okay, not bad. Still, you got 3 right. Okay.
You gotta Wrong. We're gonna do this a little more regularly, so you can't get them all this time. We gotta set a bar for you to grow.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. I'm gonna make this one a bit harder. If you get this one, I'll be very surprised. What color Speedos does Sunny Fenghan wear?
Kind of dark. Is that like navy blue or black kind of thing?
That's correct.
I'm very impressed, one. So you've seen the little meme going around. You are correct.
Yeah.
It's a good image. It's a good image.
It's a good image. Will we be seeing a wrong version soon?
Not really, because Feng Han's mom was a national champion in China, right? In the was that in the 50s or early 60s?
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, his mom was a national champion for that's
For
impressive.
what? For swimming or for
Swimming.
Swimming. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Actually,
Okay.
now that we talk about national champions, I haven't been following it. I shouldn't admit this, the Olympics. How is China doing?
I don't know. I didn't really follow the.
Okay, you and me both. Never mind. Football, edit that out.
All right.
I think swimming. I think they did okay, right? I've heard their swimming's
They're good. Well,
one of
China
the
tends
strong.
to come top 2 or
Strong.
3, right, overall.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was all the questions. So thank you for playing, Wrong. How many did he get right, Troy?
4
Four?
or 5. Yeah.
4 out of 5. Okay.
Not bad. Not bad.
So 40 ELA up for grabs, thanks to Wrong, for a community member that subscribes and puts a comment in the video.
So Wrong, that brings us to the conclusion of what our, what we'd like to turn into more of a regular once monthly, if you're up for it, kind of talking about what the community is sort of this, the topics that are currently live within the space, as well as having a fun little Is Wrong Right thing at the end of it. So with that, we'll bring it to a close. Really, it's been an honor to have you joining us on our channel. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Fox, thank you. I think there are supposed to be some links pointed somewhere. Or...
There are going to be some links. Yes, I'll put them in the description of the video, our social links to our Twitter, our website, LinkedIn, etc.
Yeah.
But please, as always, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and share.
Yeah. And don't forget
Of course, yes.
we have.
Make sure you comment, or you will not be eligible for the
subscribe.
The 40 ELA that are wrong one for the community.
Yep. And Wrong, hopefully this segment was enjoyable for you, and you'd be open to doing a few more of these in the future. And we hope to see you again.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And thank you to the community.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.